What up, y'all? It's the Real Ball Watcher, grab binoculars, and we are back with another deep dive. We coming to the end. If I'm not mistaken, I got to see how I'm going to split this up. I think this will be the second to last video because I'm probably going to do the secondary together. But then again, I don't know because it is going to be a lengthy talk about the safeties and a lengthy talk about the corner. So I might split it into two videos. But if the Hall of Fame game, depending on who plays, we might not even do a deep dive next week. It might just be film review on a Hall of Fame game. So we finally back. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Today we are breaking down the Panthers linebacker room, which it might be a little surprising where I think they rank and where I see these guys overall. But we gonna get into it. So let's do all the YouTube stuff. If you like the video, do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, hype. Turn on the post notifications so you never miss a video because y'all missed the last video a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. We ain't hit the like goal. I can see it already. But if y'all could do me a favor, like this video, but more importantly, subscribe to the channel. We trying to get to 3K. I think we like 100 away or 105 away. Something like that. Hit subscribe and let's get into this video. All right, so the first person we gotta talk about, it is a must, is the new signing, Devin Lloyd. I was a little skeptical about Devin Lloyd signing here because of the scheme differences. They were reporting that he was signed for like $20 million, $21 million. And I'm like, Fred Warner money for a guy that didn't even play in this scheme. He had 2 good seasons, but they weren't playing for us. It was switching into a 4-2. I was like, but for what we got him for, I am overly excited. As you can see, I got him as an 86 overall. He is our mic guy. I have the X factor simply because if he goes down, this linebacker ranking plummets. Like bottoms out. We're at 32 or 31 at best. It plummets without Devin Lloyd. But not only that, is the biggest weakness on our team, if you go look at any quarterback chart, was throwing to the middle of the field. I think, and we'll go ahead and start the breakdown, I think we got one of the best cover linebackers in the NFL. So let's talk about it. The way that he uses his eyes to mirror where the quarterback is going in zone, you always see his hips flips. He's able to get into throwing windows. He's able to gain depth. He's not ever guarding grass. Even if he's not guarding someone in particular, he's not matching someone in zone. He's getting into a window so the quarterback can't make throws downfield. And because he is as tall as he is, because he is as long and lengthy as he is, he can go up and get interceptions for passes that was meant for downfield passes. We've seen it all over his tape. You love it. But also, he is really, really good feel matching guys in man. Now, I don't think you're going to be able to stick him on a slot receiver or a Juwan Jennings or something like that and tell him go carry him up the seam or stuff like that like he's Luke Kuechly. He don't got that. But if you put him up on the tight end, they run a little out route, they run a corner, they run something underneath, or maybe even a go ball against the tight end. Devin Lloyd is going to be in that hip pocket. I really like what I see from him and his mirror ability as a coverage defender. And I love what I see from him as a zone dropper and a zone defender. Devin Lloyd, I would probably say he's a top 5, if we're just talking about coverage, top 5 linebacker in the league at coverage. No joke. And you see it on tape. He had a lot of interceptions last season. A lot of that is his eyes taking him to the right place. We talk about this all the time where you might get lucky. You might just, be at the right place at the right time. But when it happens over and over and over and over, it isn't luck anymore. It's just you being good at that. So you see a lot of tip pick interceptions. You see a lot of him dropping into a hole, picking off Patrick Mahomes out of a blitz look. That is Devin Lloyd. I'm telling you, that is a top 5 coverage linebacker in the NFL. That's immediately what he's going to bring to this team. And that's immediately what we needed the most last season was that coverage, because as we'll go through the rest of this linebacker unit, the coverage is something to scratch your head at, to say the least. Now, also, I will say this. He is a great open field tackler. I talked about him gaining depth in zone and being able to affect throwing windows. But when they dump it down, when they throw a little check down, when they throw a little screen or something like that out to Christian McCaffrey, you see him haul ass. He's getting downfield, but he rarely misses a tackle. Like it was a screen or a little out route to Christian McCaffrey that our guy Claudin Cherelus tried to run down, hustle, get downhill, and Christian McCaffrey just sidestep him. Claudin Cherelus goes flying. Devin Lloyd, you rarely see that from him. He knows how to near foot shimmy, get into that near hip, good tackle. He's not a big hitter, but he is a good form tackler. You see him against quarterback scrambles, get downhill out of zone and make plays on the ball. So he is a good open field tackler. I don't see him missing many tackles in the open field or kind of getting moved or shifted in the open field, things like that. Also, another thing that I love, he is really good at beating blocks. And we'll talk about beating blocks a lot in this video because it's a linebacker thing to do. I've talked about it a lot. I had a viral tweet on Twitter. If you like linebackers that do linebacker things, draft Jacob Rodriguez, Sonny Styles, whoever it was I was talking about at the time. And it's just, hey, that stack, get off a block, shed, peek, put your head in there, get aggressive, get get rough with some guys. And that's what linebackers do. Devin Lloyd can do that against run blockers. Like when those linemen get to the second level, he's not going to try to always knife and duck around and try to put his hands on him so he doesn't get touched. He doesn't care. He's putting his shoulder into you and he can move you back and make a play. You love that. But also, if it is an outside run, if it's an outside zone, or if it's a toss or something like that, he has the athletic ability to beat that lineman to the spot so he doesn't have to get hit or he doesn't have to deal with that block and spring an open runner free because he had a half second to get away from Devin Lloyd. He can beat that guy to the landmark and just go make a play on the ball. So you really love to see that. Really, really great coverage player, damn near elite, if not elite. And then also a really good to great run defender when it comes to beating run blocks. It's overall very good. And you're probably confused like how you have him at 86, I think I have him at. I just think this is his ceiling. I don't see him getting much higher than this. I think he's capped out. I could be wrong. People said this about DeMario Davis, and then he turned 34, something like that, 35, and he got even better than he already was. So I could be incorrect. His processing is decent, but it's not like it's better than decent. It's good, but I don't know. It's hard for Panthers fans because we're used to Luke Kuechly, who might have the best processor from a defensive player ever. So you see what I'm saying? But it might improve because he's been watching film with Luke, so it might improve. Last thing I want to talk about, he is a really good blitzer. He is one of the best linebacker blitzers in the league, and that will help with the team that has a bad pass rush like us and just lost their best pass rusher last year and Nick Gordon for the year. Adding a great linebacker blitzer in a team where Ejiro Evero likes to send a perfectly timed blitz, a blitz from depth from a linebacker or bring guys off the edge like a Trevon Wallace, that is going to help this pass rush a lot. Not only is he a good blitzer, as in he just slips through the holes. He can beat guys off a block. He can make contact and then run around guys, all of that stuff. But also, he's a good stunt man on those blitzes. He can be your crasher. I think it is one play where he was the crasher. Crashing is basically one guy is running into the hip of the offensive lineman. Let's say a D tackle. He's running to the hip of the tackle. That defensive lineman is going to loop around and get a free rush. He is able to do that. He can be the crasher. He can also be the looper. I've seen him get guys open for free rushes and then still make a play on the sack. I've seen him loop around. He is a good blitzer, and that's what we need. He is the X factor to this. Not even just, I think it's him and Jaelan Phillips. Not even just this linebacker room, but this defense overall. Because if Jaelan Phillips provides a good pass rush, and then we have great coverage over the middle of the field, which they just reported J.C. Horn is going to be playing in the slot. So now I have J.C. inside and Devin Lloyd inside. And then you have to throw outside, which is much harder throws to Mike Jackson and maybe a Corey Thornton or Will Lee, which we'll talk about. It's getting scary. You see what I'm saying? But let's move into the next guy. That's going to be Trevon Wallace. It's going to be our guy, Trevon Wallace. Now, this one, Trevon ain't going to be as lengthy as Devin Lloyd because I'm going to just be honest, it wasn't as much on tape to be that high on. First thing you're going to see is that injury red, that red circle, red cross thing. This guy has been hurt every year. He has a bad shoulder. I think he has surgery on his shoulder. He only played 11 games last year or 10 games last year and then 10 games as a rookie. Some of it was as a rookie because he wasn't starting, but I remember him getting a concussion or something along those lines at the end of the year. Then come this season, he misses the playoff game. He misses the back half of the season with the shoulder injury that he ended up having surgery on. He's a injury liability so far. And also I have this sand clock on him because time's a ticking. Time's is a ticking. If he doesn't figure it out in year 3, they're going to be drafting a replacement in year 4. It's that simple. Now, can he beat out that replacement and that replacement maybe take some time and then he let him walk after his contract is up? Maybe. But he only got, after this season, he only got 1 year left on his deal. Somebody will be drafted to replace him. And let's talk about why. He's nowhere near as violent of a run defender as I need him to be, especially when it comes to taking on blocks. He is a good flash player. He makes some good splash plays. But when you sit down and actually watch the tape, and I know CLT gonna love this. When you sit down and actually watch the tape, whenever it's time for a guard to pull, a tackle to pull, or them get to the second level, he doesn't do what I said Devin Lloyd does. He puts his hand on guys. He tries to run around guys. It's not enough taking on blocks, bringing the punishment to that blocker so then you can stop them in their tracks and maybe have a chance to make the play, or just clutter the space so it's not as many open lanes for the running backs to make a play. He consistently tries to finesse, get around, try to avoid blocks, and it's not violent enough. That's not true linebacker fashion. We need you to go in there and put your shoulder into that offensive lineman's chest so he knows we're here. You're not going to be able to get to the second level and just get free pancakes or get free eats. That's not what's going to happen. We're going to put a little punishment on you. I might lose this block, but we're going to be violent while we lose it. It's 100% wrong or 100% right. And he's just not giving 100% into those blocks, if you ask me, and that affects his run defense. Also, he doesn't come downhill enough. Like, whenever there is a play, it seems like he's always working upfield so he doesn't get burned, or like try to take a, in Madden where you're playing a much faster player and they get a breakaway and now you got to control that last safety. Instead of coming downhill or going straight to the sideline, you run upwards to make sure you can cut him off at the end zone. I feel like he either works upwards or he works sideline to sideline. He doesn't come downhill enough, and that affects his ability to make plays in the run game, because now guys, while you're running sideways or you're running uphill, that's letting that free blocker, that free puller, get more time to gain depth and get to that landmark to block you. Like I said with Devin Lloyd, he beats guys to the landmark. You can't beat them to the landmark if you're consistently moving it further downfield. See what I'm saying? And I mean, there was this one play with Christian Roseboom where both of them see the same run. Christian Roseboom was closer or whatever, but you can see how Roseboom immediately gets downhill. He's able to make a play on the ball for a shorter gain, while Trevon Wallace is still going parallel with the sideline. I need to see him get downhill more. Simple as that. Also, he just does not know what he's seeing against the run a lot of the times. Like, it's so many times where he jumps to the wrong gap. He jumps across the formation. He doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't see the running back cutting back. His eyes against the run are not there. And that is okay, because it takes a while for a lot of linebackers to develop that. Especially with how complex these run schemes are, different footwork, different pulls, different, fake motion, bluff motions, all that stuff. It does take a minute. But we going into year 3, like I said, year 3 or 4 of his contract, because he was a day 2 player. It's time to really get this thing rolling. If it's going to happen, it got to happen this season. So, and one of the most egregious plays to me, where I feel like it doesn't matter how green you are in the NFL, the way I was taught as a defensive player, as I played edge rusher, DT, a little bit of linebacker, I moved across the formation. I was taught when the puller goes, they're going to take you to the ball. So you either follow that puller to make a play on the backside if you're that good of an athlete, or you go meet that puller into the gap that you're going to. Yes, you got to have gap integrity and stuff like that, backside cuts and stuff. But at least the puller will flow you to the formation. I'm seeing plays on tape where their right side of the line is pulling, and instead of Trevon Wallace staying where he is or trying to meet those pullers into the gap, he's jumping to the hole on the backside where they pulled from. The ball is obviously not going there. So those type of plays are just unacceptable to me. Now let's show him some love. I do like how he looks in coverage. His coverage is pretty good. Him playing in space, he gains depth in zone. I mean, he can get tricked by a quarterback. He can sometimes second guess where he's going and not carry guys all the way that he should. He doesn't, pass off defenders as well, or take on defenders that are being passed off as well. But his movement, his depth in coverage, his ability to track guys' eyes, I do like that. And not only that, I love how he matches up much more in man. Not playing downfield, but specifically in underneath routes and in the flats. He mirrors and matches guys well. His feel for those type of plays are really good. I mean, I've seen plays where he's blitzing because the guy that he's supposed to be manned up against is kind of standing in the block. He's like, all right, I got a free blitz. And then that guy pops out, and he immediately pops out with him. Boom, he's making a play. His feel in zone and in man is good. It's the run defense that's dragging him down to this 67 overall grade. And we just got to get this figured out. It's really that simple. And then, like I said before, he is a flash player. When you keep him clean, he can make plays in the backfield. He can go make big hits. He can blitz. He is a decent blitzer. He can blitz, make some TFLs, but that's keeping him clean. You're not going to be clean all the time in the NFL. So we need him to get down in the mud. And that brings us to our next guy, which I technically do have rated higher than Trevon Wallace, but he's not a starter, and we'll talk about why, and it's going to be Claudin Cherelus. Now, with Cherelus, this is your old school linebacker. He wants to come down and hit somebody whether you have the ball or not. I talked about with Trevon Wallace how he isn't violent enough against blocks. No. This was last season. Claudin Cherelus was the best run defender in the linebacker room on our team. Better than Rosewoom, better than Trevon Wallace, better than Ben Martin Scott, better than Kyrus Barnes. This was the run defender of this unit. He was coming down and putting his shoulder into linemen. He was stacking, peeking, shedding, getting off. He was making plays. He is a great run defender, and he's also an enforcer as a tackler, but overall just an enforcer, period, because he wants to hit. I think about that play where Christian Rosewoom and him both hit Drake London at the same time. I'm like, bro, I don't know how Drake London got up, because his knee bent backwards. He got hit kind of midsection and up high. Them boys, Rosewoom and Cherelus, they wanted to hit. And Cherelus, he's still on team. He wants to hit. This is the hardest hitter. This is our enforcer. Now, he's only a 68, and he's not over Trevon Wallace because he is horrible in coverage. Like, I kept talking about how I love how Trevon Wallace and Devin Lloyd gain depth. They play into the quarterback's eyes and stuff. This guy is stuck in mud. This guy is guarding grass. He's not gaining enough depth when you have him as your hook defender, whatever, flat defender, whatever you want it to be. He's not gaining enough depth to take away windows. It is free eats in coverage when Claudin Cherelus is on the field. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, he was targeted 13 or 14 times last season, and they completed it 10 times. 13 targets, 10 receptions. Like, if you wanted a free completion, it was against Claudin Cherelus. And it isn't just in zone. Whenever he has to mirror somebody, whenever he has to match somebody in man, he doesn't get into the hip pocket enough for them to not throw the ball towards him. So he's giving up too much space in that man coverage, too much separation. Boom, it's an easy completion. Now, he might tackle them after that. He might get them on the ground. But now you've already gave up 8 yards, 7 yards, 6 yards on the little check down. You see what I'm saying? As a coverage player, he was one of the reasons why it was so easy to throw over the middle of the field. It's really that simple. So because of that, I do think Trevon Wallace will be given the opportunity. One, because Trevon Wallace is younger. He's on a rookie contract. They're still trying to develop him. They really like him. They want to see what he has. So he was going to start anyway. But if there is any reason for a worse player slightly to start over Claudin Cherelus, it's because that coverage in a passing league. And that being our biggest weakness last year, especially once Trevon went down, you're going to need somebody that can cover out there. So maybe they moonlight. They're like, all right, let's put Claudin Cherelus out there and run the fence down on early downs. We know they run the ball, put him out there. Boom. Him and Devin Lloyd, that's a great run defending unit. Then you take him off the field whenever it's passing downs, blitzing downs, pass rush downs. Put in Trevon Wallace, who is much better at that. Bam, that's a good linebacker coverage unit. It's a top 6 linebacker coverage unit in the NFL, if you ask me. So maybe that happens, or Trevon Wallace just can't figure it out as a run defender, and then he ends up getting hurt. And now Claudin Cherelus and Devin Lloyd is your 2 linebackers. As long as Devin Lloyd doesn't get hurt, I think you're good in this linebacker room. But yeah, let's talk about some of these depth guys. All right, and we can keep these 2 quick. Ben Martin Scott, that's going to be our first depth player. I think he's going to step in if Trevon Wallace goes down, or they do the moonlight thing and Claudin Cherelus also goes down. Ben Martin Scott's going to be your first guy on the field. He didn't play much in the regular season, just being honest. I liked him coming out. He was a good blitzer in South Carolina, good run defender. He likes to hit, hard-hitting guy. But think Claudin Cherelus, copy and paste, he is free eats in coverage. Like, at least in the preseason, he was free eats in coverage. He wasn't a coverage guy in South Carolina, but he is probably the second best blitzer on this team. What do I mean by that? Devin Lloyd's probably a much better blitzer, but Ben Martin Scott, even in the preseason, showed the flashes of getting around blocks, getting around running backs on their pass pros to affect the quarterback. That's what he did best at South Carolina, and I seen a little bit of flashes of that in the preseason last year. He is a decent run defender. He does take on blocks, but he can work on his core strength and overall strength to do it better. But he's just like Claudin Cherelus with better blitzing ability at home. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, not a coverage guy, but could he be your Claudin Cherelus replacement eventually in a couple years? Yeah, he's a special teamer, but that's about it. Jackson Kawach, I didn't have no tape on him. Just being honest. I tried to find all the Miami, Ohio tape in my Serato, I guess you would say. But in my film databases, I could. I don't have any of their defense, only of their offense for some reason. So, can't tell you nothing about Jackson Kawach. He is a athlete, to say the least. I want to say he had the fastest 10-yard split of any linebacker ever or something at his pro day. He is a fast guy. He does like to hit hard from the highlights I've seen. He is a okay or a decent coverage defender, or maybe a good coverage defender. I don't know. I don't watch the tape. But this is your height, weight, speed, dart throw that you get at linebackers late in the draft. Every team does it. You just hope these guys take 2 or 3 years to develop, and then in year 4 maybe come in and produce. Year 3 or 4 maybe come in and produce. That's all Jackson Kawach is. Now, I did want to highlight also, haven't done his full breakdown, so I'll talk about it more in the safety video. Trevon Wallace will also be a big factor into this linebacker unit. There will be a lot of downs where your 2 linebackers in dime looks are going to be Trevon Wallace and Devin Lloyd. That is a really good linebacker duo. 2 good run defenders. Trevon Wallace might be a better run defender than Devin Lloyd, and much better coverage player in Devin Lloyd, but a decent coverage player in Trevon Wallace if he's not manned up. And both of them are really good blitzers. That is something interesting, and that's also why this linebacker ranking is 13th in the league. Devin Lloyd is doing a lot of carrying. It's not a lot of great linebackers in the league. So to be a top 7 linebacker, which I think Devin Lloyd is, top 8, 7, that's going to carry your unit. But also having, not Lathan Ransom, Trevon Wallace also moonlight and play linebacker sometimes, that helps boost this unit above others to me. So I have us ranked as a 13th linebacker unit in the NFL. If Devin Lloyd goes down, GG's, baby. We at 30, 31, 32. Because Trevon Wallace and Claudin Cherelus is not a good duo. And Trevon Wallace getting hurt, something that you could damn near count on at that point. So now you're relying on Bam Martin-Scott and Claudin Cherelus. Coverage will be free, to say the least, over the middle of the field if that happens. But right now we got Devin Lloyd. We ain't worried about that. 13th in the NFL. I'm okay with that ranking. I hope you are too. If you do me a favor, if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. I'm going to get up out of here. I got to start working on this corners video. Got to start working on this safeties video because it's going to be pretty long. And get ready for this Hall of Fame game. Do me a favor, subscribe. We almost at 3K. Hit subscribe for me. I know we're going to go up way more once the season starts, but I want to get to 3K before the season starts. But this has been a Real Ball Watcher. Put up your binoculars. I'm out.